this is Charlene Carabeo coming to you live from Las Vegas. I am so excited. I have lived in Las Vegas since 2009. I have had the luxury of having an amazing career in entertainment. I was on Broadway and I have been in Las Vegas now for a while, and I've done a few shows here, 4 shows, something like that. And I just have the best life, and all of my friends, which, well, not all, most of my friends are in the entertainment industry. So my show, This is Vegas, is about celebrating and recognizing all of the incredible people, all the different talent, all the people that I love, bringing them on my show, talking to them, getting their story, so that it gets out into the world, so that not only we want to know, not only are we able to know more about our individual entertainers, you guys are going to be inspired by their stories and learn a little something, and we're just going to spread the word on how to get a hold of them and where to see our entertainers in Las Vegas. So much is happening here on the Strip. Just so many shows are opening this year. One of the bigger magicians in town, his name is Murray Sawchuk. This is not Murray. This is actually someone who is very dear and close to my heart. He is actually one of my best friends, and I have 2 in town, and Las Vegas is a difficult town to have great friends in. However, I trust this man with my life, and his name is Doug Leferovich. Doug Leferovich in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Doug works side by side Murray Sawchuk, and Murray has had a show in Las Vegas. You guys were at Planet Hollywood for 3.5 years, correct?
Yes, before that we were at the Laugh Factory for 3.5 years, then we moved to Planet Hollywood for 3.5 years, and we're happy to announce that beginning of October this year, 2018, we are moving back to the Laugh Factory. So we're very excited to be coming back home.
Coming back to the Laugh Factory. So is that information out already?
It was just released yesterday. It was a press release, just came out yesterday. Johnny Katz, the #1 entertainment reporter in town, released that in the paper.
John Katz.
It's been out there. Yes.
Okay, so it's been out there. John Katz publicized it.
Absolutely.
It's out there. So exciting. So I have Doug Leferovich. He has been side by side with Murray Sawchuk in doing magic. However, Doug wears a number of hats. He is so brilliant, which is another reason why I wanted to bring you on, Doug, because a lot of people don't know that Doug does more than magic. And I want to know all about it. I want you guys to know about it. So tell us about, so Doug's not just a magician, you're also he designs, and you're fill him in on you.
As a magician, the character I play in Murray's show, his name is Lefty. That's my character's name. Growing up, people couldn't pronounce my last name, which is Leferovich, so all my friends and teachers called me Lefty. Ironically, I'm also left-handed, but that's how I had the character name. In the show, Murray does all the talking, and my character is actually silent. So my character has been drawn from the great comics of the past: Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Fatty Arbuckle. So I thought to myself, for me to travel the world, and especially for me to entertain the international audiences that come to Vegas, if I don't speak, everyone can understand what I'm doing, especially because magic is such a visual medium. Right. So when I'm doing stuff, it's very visual. I have a lot of facial expressions. My acts are to music.
Like a lot.
But what's great is it's a nice contrast. So when Murray's talking, doing comedy magic, my comedy magic is silent, so it gives the audience a bit of a break between his character and my character. Other hats I wear, I've been very fortunate to work on a bunch of shows in Las Vegas, up and down the Strip.
Are you ready?
I was very lucky to do the lighting design for Boyz II Men's residency over at the Mirage.
Hello.
It was a dream come true. I actually went to the University of Pennsylvania and the Wharton Business School, and my freshman year is when Boyz II Men released their album. And for those of you who don't know, Boyz II Men grew up in Philadelphia. So I heard their album before most of America and the world heard it. So I've been a fan of theirs since 1990. So to get the opportunity 3 years ago to do lighting for their show was just an absolute dream come true. But I've gotten to do casting for Meatloaf when he had a show at Planet Hollywood. I got to do illusion design for the Jackson Brothers when they had a show. I designed a new opening for their show. A lot of times on the road they can't travel with equipment, but because they had a residency here, I designed an illusion where at the start of the show they appeared on stage. So instead of just walking out, playing their instruments, they appeared on stage in a grand opening and then started the show. I've also, over the last couple of years, started to get into graphic design work and video editing. I
Yes.
do all the video content and the graphic design work for Jen Romas' show, Sexy,
Wait.
over at the Westgate.
And who else sings with Jen? at
yes,
the
and
Westgate?
Charlene.
When Gabriella Versace, sorry to interrupt you, when she's sick or whatever, whenever they need me, I also sub over there at Sexy. So I'm a little bit biased and like, I
Yes.
love me some Jen Romas. Jen Romas, you have to come on and be on my show. But yes, if you go to see Sexy, which is at the Westgate Hotel,
It is.
Doug has done all of the graphics, and it's just stunning. It's hot, it's sexy, it's perfect for Jen's show. So
It's great to work with someone who knows what their vision is. A lot of times it takes back and forth to get it right, but so many times I work with someone who knows what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. Jen has a very clear vision of what she wants, so working with her is great. And creating all the visuals. She has 3 LED screens behind the stage, so I've created different looks basically to create digital scenery for the show. But I've worked on Frank Marino's Divas. I worked with Human Nature when they first came to town. I've been very fortunate to work with a bunch of shows here in Vegas.
So, yeah, you're not busy at all.
Not busy at
Not
all.
busy
A lot of free
at
time.
all. My
Lot of
gosh.
free time.
So I love that you are. He's so talented. You guys go see their show, which is going to be at the Laugh Factory. But he is brilliant in graphic design. But your character is silent, which drives me crazy because I know that you're an amazing person with all this personality. And I'm sorry, I consider you to be one of the funniest people that I know.
Well, thank you. And last year I was lucky enough to fill in. There's a show over at the Luxor called Fantasy, and there's a phenomenal comedian named Sean E. Cooper who
Sean,
actually
what
did the
up,
show.
Sean! I did that show too.
And on his night off from the
Anita
show, I got to fill in for Sean doing that show. And then earlier this year, there was one night where the host of Crazy Girls was not available to do the show. So I was lucky enough that Norbert, the owner of the show, asked me to fill in. And when I do my late night adult set, I actually get to talk on the microphone. So for me, it's a treat because I don't get to talk in the show that I work normally. So for me, talking on the mic and interacting with the audience is a lot of fun.
And it's a lot of fun for us because he's funny as hell. Oh my God, I like fall out. And it's great for me because we're such close friends. And so it's not one of those boring relationships where you go out to a restaurant and you're just sitting there not talking about anything. Not only do we have an interesting dynamic, you and I know that, they don't know that, but we are actually working together on a number of projects. I have produced and directed a few shows with 3 Cards. Back in the day, the Cardinale brothers. What's up, boys? I love my boys, the Cardinale brothers.
That are now.
They're okay.
The new name is
They're now Temperature. Sorry, Temperature. The Cardinale brothers. I produced, directed a show, and it was at the Treasure Island.
Yes.
He oversaw it. Like, you helped me with the creative process on that, which I love. So the 3 Cards, you're gonna come on my show, okay? And so we're collaborating. I have my own company called LVIP Entertainment, so I'm excited. That's going to be launching, you guys, just FYI. But going back to my superstar friend with all these hats, tell us, please. So I know your life. Tell them about how you got started in magic, and I love this story. They'll make me cry with how it goes on. But just tell us about your background leading up to how you got to Las Vegas.
So I got started in magic. I actually did my first show when I was 4 years old for my pre-kindergarten class. Growing up, my mom stayed at home raising my brother and I, and as we were younger growing up, my mom played actually tennis professionally when she was younger. So she did sports with us and schoolwork. So my mom said to my dad, I really think you need to figure out an activity that you do with your sons that's your activity. Well, when my dad was younger, he went to a YMCA camp, and there was one counselor that stood out to him, and he actually did some magic. So my dad was a lawyer in New York City and thought, you know what, maybe I'll bring some magic home and I'll do it with the boys. So it didn't start out as a career. Obviously, at 4 years old, it doesn't start out as a career. It's something we did for our family. So if my grandmother had a birthday, we would do a 20-minute show. If we had relatives over for Christmas, we would do a little show. And then it started to grow. Our neighbors heard that we were doing shows. So all throughout elementary school and through high school, my brother and I did birthday parties and bar mitzvahs and weddings, anything we could do, and that's how we made money. So it'll date me and tell you how old I am, but I had friends that had newspaper routes, and I had friends that were bagging groceries to the grocery store. But how I made money growing up was doing magic shows. So I've done magic all my life.
Okay, so you did that growing up, but then where did you go to school? And
I
what
went to
was
the University of Pennsylvania, and my major was advertising and marketing.
Oh, yay!
So I
Did I
feel
know that?
like, I don't know if you knew that or not, but I feel
I have
like
a marketing degree too.
I feel like one of the reasons why I'm good at understanding how an entertainer wants to be portrayed and how they want to be marketed is because of my marketing background, but also being an entertainer myself, I feel like I can get into their head and say, this is how they see themselves and this is how they want to be portrayed. You know, so many times I'll tell people, oh, I'm a magician, and if you go somewhere, they would give you clip art of a top hat with a rabbit. Well, that doesn't describe my character. My character is sort of this stagehand. I wear overalls, my hat's sideways, I have a broom. So having a hat and a rabbit wouldn't describe who I am. So for me, before I do a graphics project, video, editing, whatever, I want to get to know the artist. I want to see the artist perform, see how they see themselves, so that I can capture that into what project I'm working on.
And my mind went into two different directions. Shocking, I know. That's what that face was. But because you could potentially just, this is what I see, and you're going to help me. I am going to continue to produce and direct shows. So I love that. So you're a visionary person. Like you love that. Is that what you see?
Yes, I feel like
doing?
if I can't be on stage performing, I love being part of the creative process. So as a creative director, I'm not only talking about, okay, maybe you should choose this song. I'm talking about what you're wearing, where you're standing on the stage. If you always happen to be traveling downstage right, maybe you want to do one song upstage left. Maybe you're not in the spotlight, maybe there's just an overhead light. So for me, it's not just about the show, or if I'm working with, for example, I was working with a magician mentalist in town, and his show is completely in Spanish. Does not
Can
speak.
we say his name?
Yes, Santiago. He has a show over at Planet Hollywood.
Okay.
So his show is completely in Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish. And during the show, one of the cocktail waitresses came over and goes, "Oh, I didn't know you spoke Spanish." And I said, "I don't."
I know you don't.
And ironically, I took 3.5 pages of notes, and it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with what he said.
Exactly.
It was about standing.
that.
Where is the audience member in relationship to him? How can we add music at the end of a routine to give it a button, to give it emphasis, so the audience knows to applaud? So for me, I try to look at other things than just the obvious. For a lot of times, like a singer knows the notes they have to hit. I'm worried about other things in terms of the production to make it more of a show.
God, I love you. I mean, you're hearing him. I know what he's capable of. Like, just talking to you right now, I'm so excited because we are going to be working together, collaborating on a number of projects, one of which is a children's program that he and I had spent like a couple days all throughout the night just developing ideas for kids. We want to put together kind of a way to guide kids into the entertainment industry, singing, dancing, acting, but because of our vision and because we're not only on stage, but we want to transition to like the director position, watching what's going on.
I think it's great to give kids a creative and artistic outlet. I know growing up, I went to a very, very small high school. My graduating class was only 38 people. Mm-hmm. And because it was such a small school, you either were a jock and played football or you were not. The school wasn't big enough to have skaters and goth kids and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like one way that I came out of my shell growing up being shy was learning magic and being able to approach people and being able to talk to people. Yeah. And I tell people, even if you don't wind up taking that art form and becoming professional, you can use that in whatever profession you do. I met someone at a charity golf tournament recently, and their son was going to this magic camp that I went to as a kid. And I said, you know, they say that the biggest fear for people is speaking in public. People are more afraid to speak in public than they are to die. And I tell people, as he's learning magic and interacting with people, it's so wonderful that he's learning a skill. Even though he doesn't realize it, he's learning a skill to interact with people. So even if he doesn't become a professional magician, which I discourage because hopefully he makes a lot of money, I said, whatever job...
You're not a millionaire?
I am not a millionaire. Whatever job he does...
We got to fix that.
Whatever job he does, he'll be able to have that skill of interacting and talking with groups of people because he's learned magic.
Exactly. And yes, doing magic, but since we're talking about kids, since I am a professional singer, dancer, actor, what's interesting, and I thought of this weekend, which is something that I want to help develop when we do our kids program. My son plays baseball. Kids don't understand, or they're just playing the game. But if you look at baseball and you're an athlete as well, there's so many components to the sport, to the whole organization. Stepping up to the plate. It's like you have to step on stage. You have to
Absolutely.
enter a meeting, and then when you're up to bat, you literally have to deliver. You either knock it out of the park, or you foul out, or like all these things, and it helps to create so many important.
Well, I think it's also
great
about,
for kids.
Learning about putting other people before yourself, not being always self-centered, learning about a team. So even if you're playing baseball and you're on a team,
Exactly.
when you be older and you enter the workforce, you could be in an office, and now that's your team.
Exactly.
So you have to be
It's
respectful
huge.
of your teammates. How do you interact with them? Maybe you treat one teammate differently than another teammate. Well, maybe you treat one person in the office different than you treat other people. I mean, we all don't live by ourselves. We all interact with people all the time. So I think doing sports is very valuable in terms of interacting with other people.
Interacting, competing.
Absolutely.
Continuing on when you're in pain, just so many things about it. But on that note, I love that about you, how you are so great at expressing yourself when you are able to speak, which is why I want you to have a mic all the time and you're silent. But for me, that was one of my insecurities. I sang and I danced. My Broadway musical, I sang and I danced. I didn't have any lines.
Sure.
But then when I came to Las Vegas, the shows that I did, Peep Show, Fantasy, Sexy, as well as Island Heat at Treasure Island, I had to speak, and I had a fear of it.
Sure.
I'm not great at it. I stutter, and it's just been from practicing and being on stage. And then now, okay, I'm older and I'm a little bit more polished. But this is exciting for me because I'm challenging myself as I'm speaking, not to stutter or fumble or like trying to have this interaction that we're having.
Sure.
Anyway, cut and splice. On to the next topic. So you're going to be at the Tropicana.
Laugh Factory.
Oh, sorry.
Laugh Factory inside the Tropicana.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we get a hold of you? Do you have a website?
I do have a website. If you go to leftymagic.com, LEFTYMAGIC.com, you can get all the information.
We'll put it on the bottom of the screen.
Yes, put it right here. Put it right here. Put it right here.
We'll put it right
Put it right here. Put it right there. Put it right there. Put it right here. And now with the Bee Gees.
And you're on Facebook.
And I'm on Facebook.
Do you have an Instagram, Twitter, all that madness?
I am not. I have MySpace, and
We're lucky he's even on Facebook.
My
Okay,
MySpace page is
Tell us.
sick right now.
MySpace.
My MySpace page is sick. When it
I
comes
have a
back,
MySpace.
I'm ahead of the curve, which I love that I'm ahead of the curve. Everyone's like, oh, Twitter, Instagram, that's going to go away. MySpace is coming back. Check it out.
No way. Okay, so I want to wrap this up. First, you're a magician. You don't by chance, and I'm going to go on a whim because he says he always goes around with a deck of cards. You don't have, can you do something?
I actually never go around with a deck of cards. I'm not 13 anymore, but I did bring a deck of cards just in case.
I told you. I'm right. He's lying. I knew it. So we're gonna edit some music over this. We're gonna maybe zero in on his hands.
It's okay.
Well,
Don't have to
focus
zero.
there. Okay,
So
we don't
all
have
the
to zero.
cards are different. I'm going to have you pick out one card. Any card you like. I want you to show it to the camera. Perfect.
Okay. Did you look at the
I did
monitor?
not look at the monitor.
Okay.
Put your card right down. One
We
more
have a
time.
monitor right there.
That's the card. When most people play card games, they cut the cards in half. They place half the deck down and the other half on top. Since I do magic, I cut the cards a special way. I'll show you. I place some cards up, some down. Some up, some down. This is called the Magician Shuffle. Some people just call it sloppy. And I can show you all the cards are different. You see some cards are front to back. Some cards are back to front. Some cards are even back to back. All you have to do is give it a tap. And check it out. Look, each and every card now turns face up.
No way!
Except for one card.
No way, dude. No way. This is not my card. Oh my god! Oh my god, I love that. I love that. I love that.
If I didn't get it right, I wouldn't be on the show.
Doug Lefferovich. Okay, one last thing, because I just thought of it, because
Yes.
you're so amazing, and because I want to be able to be in the arena to where I can have a kids program or something, to a kid, an aspiring youngster that's going into entertainment, magic, or whatever, what is something that you want to say to them? And we'll close with that.
I would say try, even when you fail. Every time I work on a new routine, it takes a while to perfect. I feel like we all have a short attention span. Most of us are ADD in this technology world where you want the information quick. There was a while in Murray's show at Planet Hollywood, I was doing a trick where there was a silver ball and I was floating it. And somebody came up to me after the show, a parent with a kid, and said, "Wow, that floating ball was great. How long have you been doing it?" And I said, "I've had that ball for 32 years.
Wow.
It's the same one that I got originally."
Wow.
And when I saw it at a magic convention, I said to my dad, "Oh, will you buy me that trick?" And my dad bought me the trick. And I worked on it for about 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, I couldn't get it. I just couldn't get a handle on it. So I put it away. And my dad said to me, "If you don't work on something, and I buy it and you put it away, I'm gonna stop buying you stuff."
Hello.
So I worked on it and worked on it and worked
Doing
on it,
something.
and I've been doing that trick for 32 years.
Maybe we'll flash it on the screen.
Maybe.
Or maybe it already was. But anyway, I love you!
I love you too.
Did you guys have fun? Isn't he amazing? Go see his show. Where can we go see you? Laugh Factory Tropicana.
Yes, Laugh Factory inside the Tropicana. We're there 6 days a week. Sunday to Thursday, Sunday to Wednesday, we are there at 5 o'clock.
Oh,
Thursday
cool.
and Saturday, we're at 7.
Yeah, say that real fast 3 times.
I can't, that's why I only said it once.
Okay, so Tropicana, and we're going to be working on projects together, and thank you so much. You guys share this video, go see Doug, love on my boy Doug and Murray Sawchuk. I love you so much. Oh my God. How many times have I said oh my God? Let's edit that out. And scene, love you guys. Bye from, oh, that's cool.